Hi Chelsea fans, back with another video on the channel, and for those of you that have not seen my videos before, I'm doing something a little bit different here to what you've probably already seen around YouTube as far as the other Chelsea content creators are doing. I'm having a one-to-one chat with you guys because I think that's the best way to get through to you, the Chelsea fan watching this, because at the end of the day you want to watch these videos to be entertained, to enjoy the videos, and obviously to get you thinking a little bit. And ever since Leicester, ever since the speculation about Frank Lampard, and ever since all what we're reading on social media, Chelsea are in a bit of a mess, and we all understand that. But what I'm asking you, the Chelsea fan, and maybe the football fan from a different team if you're watching, or just a football fan in general, I'm asking you the question, which is it just Frank Lampard that's accountable here? Or are there any other factors that are accountable to our poor form and our slide down the table after being 16, 17 games unbeaten a month ago? If there are other factors that are accountable, what are they? I'm going to try and get into it in this particular video. So do me a favour, drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel. Let's get cracking. So the reason I'm saying about other factors is we all know what people are feeling about Frank Lampard. The Chelsea fan base worldwide is split. That's pretty much clear to see. There are those that think he should be given the chance to stay in the job. I did the video yesterday on my channel, a 5-minute quick video about the fact that it looks as though Roman Abramovich is prepared to give him that time. The next 3 games coming up, for example, Wolves, Burnley, Tottenham are key. 3 wins, turn things around. So he's prepared to give him that time. God forbid anything happens if we lose those games. And there are those people that think Frank Lampard should be sacked, Frank Lampard shouldn't be in the job. And you can understand why they're saying that, because of the poor form. Like, you know, the defeats, we've had 5 defeats in 8 games isn't good enough. And the fact, as I said yesterday, that he come out the other week before Fulham and said they've had 2 full weeks to work on things and put things right. And if anything, it's just got worse. So I do understand why people are saying that. But the more you sort of think about it, and the fact that we have to do all this thinking because we're having to wait to play FA Cup football at the weekend, and then we're having to wait for the next Premier League game against Wolves, you can't help but keep thinking about how bad we were against Leicester and this getting ourselves out of the situation. And the only way we can do that is play another game in the Premier League. But as I say, we've got to wait. So I'm just trying to think of more reasons as to why our form has just really taken a tumble. And I said at the top of the video, are there any other factors that are accountable? And players and tactics pretty much fall into one for me. And players are assigned to play in a tactical position, but they're trusted by the manager to do that job. Are they doing that job good enough? And I don't think they are. I think there's certain players that are, there's certain players that aren't. And then again, you look into it further and you look into players that are asked to do a job in a tactic that doesn't suit them. And that's the situation. That's the sort of the rock and the hard place Chelsea and the Chelsea fans can see, and the situation we're in at the moment, because, you know, you stick or twist with a certain tactical formation and you put someone there to play a role. Maybe it doesn't suit them. They have a bad game, they get hammered for it. And I'm just wondering the situation. And for me, let's look at the players. Out of the season so far, players that are performing, you'd probably have to say Mason Mount. You'd probably have to say Olivier Giroud, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma was, Chilwell to a point, Rhys James to a point. But there's not really much more after that, is there? Hudson-Odoi's been doing okay. Kovacic has not been himself as what he was to the standards of last season. Kai Havertz is struggling to make an impact. Seems like he just labours through games where he needs to be more dynamic and more just put the afterburners on. I keep saying it. Just show us what you're made of. Show us what you've got. And again, the tactic doesn't probably suit him at the moment. He's not a number 8. He's more of a number 10. Timo Werner is struggling to try and get that forward position and try and make it his own because he's been asked to play other roles. He will come good. Along with Havertz, I'm sure they both will come good. Werner will 100%. Pulisic is making a return from injury. He's not really been as good as he was, but he's yet to find his feet and get his fitness back and get full confidence back into his hamstring, which obviously plays a part in his mental side of things, worried about it going again, maybe. Hakim Ziyech has been sort of stop-start this season, hasn't really been outstanding over a continual period of time. Tammy, in and out the team, scored some goals and done okay. Giroud has done well when he's come in and just literally scores and pretty much says to the manager, why are you not picking me, sort of thing, and maybe rightly so at the moment. You know, Jorginho, in and out. Is he really a starter at the moment? Is he in the best 11? No. You can understand why he's been left out. Billy Gilmour, is he ready to come in the hustle bustle of the Premier League for 90 minutes every single game? I don't think he is. He's near there, but he's not there at the moment. So, you know, I mean, Andreas Christensen, in, out, injured, can't get his place back. Tomori, bye-bye. I don't know why, but Tomori's off. Alonso, bye-bye. Burnt his bridges at West Brom. Emerson's just a backup. Cesar's been dropped this season for Rhys James, which is a surprise. Bearing in mind that in situations where we find ourselves at the moment, you're losing games, you're making mistakes, you look to experienced players to sort of take the lead, to show the example and to set the tone for everybody else to follow. Thiago Silva's doing it at the moment. He's probably the only one with the experience other than Giroud. Chilwell to a point, Mount to a point, but as far as experience over time, it's just those two in the first 11 at the moment. So why didn't Aspi play more games? Rhys James has made numerous mistakes, and it has to be said, giving penalties away, switching off. It's not just Rhys James, it's other players as well. But it's notable that Aspi has been sort of dropped to the bench this year. Maybe his legs he's not as quick as he used to be, and the demands of the Premier League is beginning to take its toll. But as far as experience goes and a leader on the pitch, he's the club captain, he's the team captain. If it's going wrong, put him in, or put him in as a third centre-back. You know, it's just, there are far too many players that are off their game that are not performing to the levels they were last year. Now, is that to do with the tactics? Is that to do with the constant rotation of changing of players? And let's be honest, we've had a lot of injuries. We've never had to put out the strongest team. We've never been able to for a sustained period, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, because there's always been someone missing. N'Golo Conte to come back in. He's been sort of below par, but you have to say that the team overall probably have been, despite the unbeaten run we were on. We were playing okay, scoring goals, winning games. We still weren't at the level, and it's notable that we haven't beaten any of the sort of the top 10, top 8 sides currently this season. So I'm just wondering, the tactics. You know, I said it yesterday. Do you build the tactics around the players that you've got? I've seen The Athletic, an article today saying top-heavy Chelsea. That is probably the problem. We probably are top-heavy. I know we've got 5 centre-backs currently and 3 left-backs currently, but middle of midfield, we look a little bit short. Mount, Kovacic, Jorginho, Havertz, Billy Gilmour's 5. We're playing a 3-man midfield week in, week out. I know we let Loftus-Cheek go on loan and Barkley. If anything, Barkley would probably be sold. He'd like to stay at Villa. Loftus-Cheek will come back to Chelsea and be a better player for it, hopefully. But then, I said yesterday, we're looking at another defensive midfielder. We've only got N'Golo Conte there. So, the tactics, I mean, what options can you go with at the moment? Can you go 4-4-2, solid, old school, basic, and build from that? Can you go 4-2-3-1 and leave the 2 midfielders in front of the back 4? Or will that expose you? Can you go 3 at the back, 2 wing backs? Can you go a different formation, 4-1-4-1, like Leicester do? That seems to work, with the 4-1 being a defensive set, and then the 4-1 up front, the 5 players there designed to go forward and support in forward areas. That may be something to look at. But one thing's clear, and Everyone's under pressure. Frank Lampard called the players out the other day after the game. For the first time, really called them out. And it's up to them to respond. And I'm not being funny, but you're paid to do a job. I'm paid to do a job. I work full time away from doing all this. And I'm paid to do my job. If I don't do my job, I get sacked. If I fall below certain levels, you get pulled. You give me your salary, some of the Premier League players' salary, some of the Chelsea players' salary week in, week out, I'll jump through hoops for you. So it's a time where I said yesterday, everyone needs to regroup. Everyone needs to come together. And as a collective, we need to just get together, sort it out. The players need to lift themselves. They need to be determined enough to fight for the manager. The manager needs to get more from the players and get the best out of them like he did last year. Yes, there's 6 new faces in the squad. And let's be honest, you're probably going to be playing 4 or 5 of them week in, week out in the Chelsea team. And that's not easy to implement and involve those players in a Premier League team week in, week out, where they're still trying to learn how each other plays, get to know their teammates. It's going to literally, you've got to be there, you've got to be on point, you've got to be playing at a standard week in, week out. But most importantly of all, you need to understand what's being asked of you. So Frank needs to get that message across, and the players need to buy into it. And by buying into it, they need to do the basics. That's what's being asked of them in those certain positions within the tactic. It all fell apart against Leicester, and we can't afford for that to happen anymore. I sincerely hope there's been a meeting that's taken place straight after the game against Leicester in the changing room, again at Cobham the day after, and they all get together, thrash whatever problems they've got out, get clear heads, and get all focused on one goal, and that's to play for the shirt and take Chelsea back to where we need to be, to a standard, to play to the Chelsea standard. And that's not being arrogant, it's not being, it's just a levels that have been set now that we need to reach as a minimum. And that's what we need from Chelsea in the coming weeks. So, as I say, I don't think it's purely just the manager. The players got a lot to answer for. Maybe the tactics need to be changed or just amended slightly, but I just don't think it's all on Frank Lampard. And I just want to know what you guys think. Do you think the players are accountable as well? Do you think the tactics? Do you think it's just purely Frank? In fact, in the comment section below, let me know in a list of priority what you think the main accountable reason for our poor form is, with the second and the third, between the manager, the players and the tactics. Drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss when my videos come out. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Told you, it's a little bit of a different video, one-to-one chat between me and you. Let me know what you think. Comment section. See you tomorrow.